For the fourth holiday card series, we're going to be making this card in front that has a series of paper strips to create a Christmas tree and some rhinestones. The inspiration for the card came from this card that I made several years ago for my customers for Christmas. And one way you can get some inspiration for your Christmas cards is to look back at some of the older things that you've made. If you've taken a picture, or if I mass produce a card, I usually save one of the ones that I make. And this one was made with strips of discontinued fabric samples, which I thought was appropriate for my business since I make window treatments. And of course, not every card was different, because I had a little bit of fabric with each color, but not a lot. So there was quite a bit of variation. Now you get a similar kind of look with doing ribbon, and this is probably my favorite of the three. This took 5 minutes to pull the ribbons together, because I keep all my ribbon sorted by color, and I have a lot of green ribbon as it's my favorite color. So I just layered a bunch of different ribbons down, and then used some rhinestone brads, and I embossed the star with iridescent ice embossing powder from Stampin' Up! After I stamped it in Summer Sun ink. So that makes a pretty card, and because I was using the brads, I went ahead and put this on a separate layer and attached it with foam adhesive. Now the card we're going to make is the paper one, because I'm sure everybody has lots of green paper. So let's get started making that card for Christmas. Okay, to make our Christmas tree card with the paper version, I'm starting with a piece of cardstock that's cut slightly smaller than the front of a card. I think it's 4 1/8 by 5 3/8, something that's just a little bit smaller. And this is Naturals Ivory from Stampin' Up! I'm also got several green papers that I just pulled. These were things that were very much on top of the drawers, because I've been using a lot of these lighter greens. You could use darker greens as well. I'm going to need some distress ink and a green that goes with it. I'm using peeled paint. You could also use Old Olive from Stampin' Up! It would work just as well. We'll need a star, and I've already taken a chipboard star and I've inked it up with some more mustard, I believe, craft ink, to give it a nice gold look. And I've got some red rhinestones we're going to use later on. The first step is I'm taking some So Saffron ink and just doing the very edge of my card. Finish off this front edge, and this will of course be adhered to a regular card base. And I'm also going to use this ink to put a little bit of extra gold up in the top. I have a stamp. This one's from Stampin' Up! It's sort of a grunge kind of stamp that's supposed to look like paint flecks. You could do this with paint flecks, or you could use a mister if you wanted to. But I'm just going to add a little bit of the yellow up at the top where my star will end up being, so it looks like the star is giving off kind of a glow around the middle. Okay. Alright. Now the next thing I need to do is cut some strips out of my green pattern paper. So I'm going to go do that, and I'm going to cut them varying different widths, probably from about 1¼ inch down to maybe 1/2 inch or even smaller, just so I have a variety of different widths, and then we'll do the lengths. Okay, I have all my strips of paper cut in different lengths, and I'm going to tear off one edge on each side, kind of at an angle. Yep. I've got them, I think, here in the order, let me put them up here, that I want to use them. You can have them overlap, or you can leave space between them, however you want to. I think I've got enough strips here, I may overlap them a little bit. Now to get the other length, I just go ahead and position them about where I want each one to be going up the card. And then I can take the strip and tear off the side. These can be torn more at an angle as you go up. If you want to get real precise, you could mark a line and then tear by the line. Just kind of doing this roughly. Okay. And then I can play a little bit with my tree. Now before I glue these down, I'm going to ink the edges. And I'm using peeled paint. Could I just say also with these colors, Old Olive from Stampin' Up! Would work, or whatever works with your papers. You don't have to do greens. You can go non-traditional, like I did on the first fabric card. I used some reds and, as well as the greens, still traditional Christmas colors. You could, it's whatever you wanted that looked like a tree. I'm just inking all these edges up. When the inking is done, then we're ready to glue everything on. Oh, I need a little piece of brown to go down here at the bottom. I'm going to find a little piece of brown cardstock, and then I'm just going to glue each of these layers on. Okay, I have my layers glued on, but I want to show you what I had to do with one of them. I had one layer that was just too long here, so I lifted the paper up and tore it, and then to re-ink the edge, I just lifted it up a little bit more and put a little piece of paper under there, scrap paper, and did my inking. So that way I didn't have to take anything really apart. Okay, I'm going to glue my star on. I couldn't find my Tombow glue, so I'm going to use some glue dots. And I found with glue dots, to add them to chipboard, it's best to apply them with the scissors, because if you try to pick the glue dot up directly from the chipboard, a lot of times it just leaves a layer of chipboard behind and you don't get a glue dot. Alright, there we go. That'll be enough. And there's our star and all its pretty glow. And the last step, are our rhinestones. So I'm going to add a few of the larger rhinestones. Down here near the bottom of the tree. And some of the smaller ones up near the top. Gonna need there, and maybe one small one down here too. Okay. Alright, and there is the front of our card. Very crafty looking card, very casual looking card. So, and in fact I think I may do a little bit more work on it still. Use that same trick again. There we go. And that wraps up this card. We'll attach this to a card front. And I hope you enjoyed the 3 different Christmas tree pieced cards. And thank you for tuning in to the holiday video series. And I'll have more Christmas and holiday cards as we go along towards December. Thank you.